It's home day, so let's start with some major home makeover inspo. Now, Sharon recently transformed a living room. Check it out and pay special attention to the chair.
This living room hadn't been painted in over 10 years, so it was high time for an update. To give it a more contemporary look, I decided to use distant gray on everything. The walls, the trim, the ceiling, the fireplace, even the mirror frame. But in order to make this look really work, it's important to vary the sheens. So the wall, I used Aura in a matte finish. All the wood trim work is in pearl. Now for the fireplace stone, it was a little more porous, so I first used Sticks primer and then followed it with the trim paint. Now the floor tile, I used the same Sticks primer, but then I top coated it with a latex floor and patio paint for more durability in Black Panther. I used that same paint for all the wood detailing on the chair and ottoman, but to go bold here, I use an overscale houndstooth pattern. I just love it. Sometimes just moving things around your house is a great way to give a fresh look without spending any money. I found this awesome cuckoo clock in the hallway. I thought it would look fabulous above the fireplace, so I moved the existing artwork that was here over above the cabinet to create a nice little vignette. Hits of black and white in the carpeting and the accessories are just enough to complete the look.
Oh, Sharon, what a gorgeous makeover. So you painted that chair, and combined with new upholstery, it is a real feature in that space. It's gorgeous. Now, you say painting furniture is a great way to transform an area of your home quickly and breathe new life into an older, dated piece.
Yes, absolutely, Trace. Got lots of inspiration. As you know, I'm a big advocate of painting and upcycling as opposed to replacing. So I think that there's so much that you can do with paint and color, and that house makeover was a great example. But there's so many things you can do with simple things. Like the chair, we reupholstered it, but you could also just paint a chair and use it to hang your clothes on. Or if you're a little more adventurous, maybe you want to paint an entire set of dining room chairs to give them an update. Or if they're all different shapes and sizes, it'll make them feel more cohesive. In the kitchen, you could always paint just the island to bring a pop of color into that space. And in the bedroom, there's so many opportunities, from headboards and side tables. But take a look at this really cute little bright sunshiny yellow dresser. And on this, they actually painted it a bit of an ombre. So you go from a darker yellow to a light tint of yellow. So it's kind of fun. But I was thinking, like in a kid's bedroom, for example, you might want to paint each drawer a different color so that they know, okay, socks go in the blue and your t-shirts go in the green. So there's lots of fun things that you can do. And if you don't want to have a lot of color on the outside, this is a lovely little trick that I love to do. This is from my guest room, side table. Look at that, a little secret pop of color.
I love that. So something tells me, I mean, you've got many furniture pieces in your own home painted. Those examples you were giving us, is that all from your home?
Oh no, I wish my home looked like that, but those are some inspo from Benjamin Moore.
You have worked on your dining room chairs though, haven't you?
I have worked on my dining room a lot over the past 10 years. And Trace, it sort of started 10 years ago when I picked up this really cool church pew at a salvage shop, and it was a little bit too light for my decor. So I cleaned it up, painted it, and antiqued it, and it's given us so much room over the past 10 years. I can fit 6 adults, when I could have 6 adults at my house. I could fit lots of kids on the pew, so it's been a really wonderful addition. And that kind of got me thinking, oh, my dining table is looking a little dated. So around 5 years ago, it never ends, right? So I sanded it down to see what the wood looked like. It was recycled teak, and I actually loved it. It had a really nice reclaimed wood look, so I just sanded it right down and put a clear coat on it, and then painted the legs black so it tied in with the pew. And then fast forward to 2020, I've finally painted my sideboard. Ooh. I was feeling like there was a little bit too much wood. Yeah, guess what? It's Amazon green. So I went for a nice, strong hit of color. And you know what? This is the beginning. I think probably next on my list is my kitchen cabinets, but that's a bigger project, so we'll talk about that later.
That is a huge one, but that will completely transform the space. So here's my question for you. Everything looks gorgeous that you've refinished. Is the process different depending on if it started as a painted piece versus if it wasn't painted to begin with?
Yes, absolutely, Trace. That's a good question. For sure, if you've got a pre-finished piece, whether it's already painted or it's got a lacquer factory finish, like these cabinets are a really good example, you really need to scuff it up before you repaint it. So you don't have to get it right down to the raw wood unless you're doing what I did with my table and you actually want to see that raw wood. But otherwise, you just use, I usually start with an 80 grit. Sometimes I need to go a little bit rougher to rough it up so you get rid of that high sheen. And then you don't necessarily get down to the raw wood, but some spots you might. But you just want to get rid of the sheen. And then I always recommend priming it just because you want to have a nice clean base. So you can see here I used Stix primer on this. So again, it sticks. If there is any spots that maybe you didn't do a great job of getting rid of that high sheen, the Stix will stick to that and then allow you to paint over it. I did forget to mention cleaning. Cleaning is also really important. I usually clean it a bit before I start sanding and then definitely clean it after with a trisodium phosphate or at least a good dish liquid, a good grease cutting dish liquid. So then when it comes to putting a top coat, I really love using Advance. Advance is a waterborne alkyd that Benjamin Moore has, and it's really wonderful because you get that durable, hard finish of a traditional alkyd, but you get the easy cleanup. You can wash your hands, you can wash your brushes with water that you get with water-based, and it's lower VOC than a lot of those old ugly oil paints. So the cool thing is you can get a lot of different sheens. So not sure how you can see it here, but I've got a matte now, which is new, and I absolutely love this. I'm looking forward to trying this. We've got the pearl, which I've used quite a bit, then a semi-gloss, and a high gloss. So we get a really nice sheen, and you can play around with the different sheens depending on what your project is. With raw wood, it's the same thing. You want to sand it just to make it nice and smooth, and then you can always just clear coat it if you like it. Or if you're going to be antiquing it, don't prime it because you're just going to see the primer. Just put the matte finish is what I used here of the advanced paint or whatever finish you want, and then you can sand it and antique it, and you've got a nice finished piece.
Any other tips before we go, Sharon, when it comes to repainting?
Yes, make sure that you give the product time to cure, for sure. Before I waited a good 5 days before I started putting things onto my cabinet, so it takes time to cure. And then if you want to try out some different colors, you can go online to Benjamin Moore's Color a Room section, and you can get lots of interesting spaces there where you can actually even change the color of some of the furniture in the room. So you can change the walls, you can change the furniture, and it gives you an idea of how the color is going to look at when you in your space, or you can even upload your own photo.
It's actually, you'll be obsessed after you use that app. It's so cool. You'll want to play with it all day long. It's so good. Thank you so much, Sharon. Such great ideas and tips. Love that.